Hello and welcome. This is Moksha Mukti gathering. Today is August 29, and it also happened to be a full moon. And today happens to be what they call is a Janai Purnima. It's the special full moon, and it is supposed to be, if you look out at night time, it is supposed to be one of the brightest moon that you'll see today. So we have some dogs barking on the background, and there's some cloudy sky. I was anticipating perhaps it was going to rain today, and it didn't rain. It hasn't rained so far. It looks like it may have rained. There's some water. It may have rained, but it's not raining now, and it doesn't look like it's raining. It doesn't look like it's going to be raining anytime soon, but you never know. If it rains, then we have to move under the umbrella. So we are gathering here, and I am expecting some people. And if you're watching live on YouTube, you can also call in. The call-in number is 641 area code 715-3276, and passcode is 736-686 pound. So once you dial that number, it will take you into the conference line, and I can take up to 100 callers, and you can listen in and ask questions. Mainly the call line is to ask questions. Of course, you can hear and see me on YouTube live, but to ask questions, we have the conference line. And again, today we will be answering some questions, some concerns that come up on Facebook. So Facebook, there are some questions and some concerns or some wishes. Somebody wished to be prayed on their behalf, on the personal behalf, and we may do that on their personal behalf. If somebody wants to be prayed, what we do here is a quantum prayer, right? And in this quantum prayer, we have been praying, and what we wish for in this quantum prayer, purpose and intent, it has been coming true. So whether this is coincidence, or was just the luck, or we just happened because of the prayer, so that's we don't really have evidence unless it occurred. This event occurred, and welcome. And this event occurred because of the prayer, or it just happened by coincidence. So that's, we will do that, and we will also do the prayer. If you request the prayer, we can do that, the personal prayer on your behalf. But today we're going to be praying for again, world peace, reducing the crime, and also the financial market. Right? We're going to pray for that quantum prayer for the financial market. That seems to be going up and down, up and down, up and down. If you're watching this Wall Street, I mean, as it goes up, one day it was like dropped down 1,000 points, then it came back up, it was gaining, or maybe if it came up to like 500 points, it was going up and down, up and down, up and down. So there is certainly financial volatility in the stock market. So we'll pray for three things in a quantum prayer. We'll do that. And we'll also talk about anger, right? We talked about anger last time. We just touched the surface, so we want to go deeper and talk about anger. What is anger? Where does it arise? And how does it affect the mind? So we'll talk about anger, right? And the other thing we're going to talk about is there's some questions on Facebook. We'll talk about that, and anything arises here, any questions arise here in the gathering. I'm anticipating a couple other people to join in. So we will ask, we will entertain their questions and a couple other concern on Facebook, or anything that is spontaneously arise, I'll talk about that. I'll speak about that, and any spontaneous question, we'll entertain that today. So that's our goal. And we also do the chanting. Chanting is just to get into the mood. It's just, is it really helping you by chanting? Perhaps not, because it just perhaps gets you into the mood to point to that quantum level, right? So right now, you driving from far away. Thank you for being here, and we have I think one other person coming from McKinney. It's like 20 minutes drive. So coming here, you have to prepare all that. Even like this morning, I had to prepare all this, put the lights, camera, all this, putting all this, setting this up. See, this all takes your thoughts, right? So this takes your thoughts, and that comes from the condition, right? And without that, we wouldn't be able to broadcast this live today, and we won't be able to join this, right? So there's a thought involved. See, conditioned thought, right? And we have to believe in that thought to function in the society. See, we have this gathering, and to be here in this time, in this place, we have to use that condition, right? So that's one aspect of it. And the other aspect I'm pointing is that there is something within you that is even observing your thoughts. That is observing your thoughts. And what is there happening is observing, right? So we want to get into that level. So here, this is an analogy I gave him last time. There's a light here, and like the light is pretty bright. If you come up here, this light is pretty bright. But once the sun comes up here, this light is negligible. This light is there as if it's not there. But it's about 200 watts. It's bright now, and I cannot say when the sun comes up, this light is not bright. This light is bright now, right? Even the sun comes, the light brightness does not diminish. But what happens when the sun comes up is there is distraction. So when there is a distraction, this light becomes negligible. Similarly, you have that observing that is going on all the time, right? There's no like a who. Looks like somebody joined it. Hello, is somebody joined in? Oh, no, not yet. So that observing, there is no really observer, but the observing is going on. The observing is going on all the time, just like this light right here, right? This is going on all the time. And your thought is distracting that. So that observing is distracted by the thought, just like the sun is distracting this light.
If that observing thing is always within you, then why it takes so much?
Hold on a second. Let's just grab this microphone here, so you can record what you asking. All right.
Is it good?
Yeah. Is it on? It should be on. Yeah. It just records on the camera.
If that light is within you all the time, then why it's taking so long for people to understand? It has so much power, right? But why it's taking?
No.
But
I just gave you an analogy. This light right here is your observing, right? This light, when there is no sun, this light is bright. When there is no distraction from your thought, that is always present, then you can feel it, you can sense it, you can recognize it. The moment thought appears, because thought is there because it's a conditioned thought, right? It's a condition by society, parents, all that. So that the condition is there, and also it's in the memory, right? And thought is just the process, electromagnetic field, or it's a biochemical process, right? It's a biochemical process, and that is happening all the time. It's a physiological biochemical process. It happens all the time. The moment you eat food, the thought comes up, gives you power. It's like this one right here. You plug it in, it lights up. You eat food, gives you energy, and it comes up all the time, right? So it is coming up all the time, it is happening all the time, and because of the condition, that thought becomes a belief, that you believe in that thought. And I pointed this out last time too. You know, while you go out there to function, you have to use that, because that's how we function in the society. That's how we're conditioned to function in the society as a group of people, right? So we have to use that, right? But what I'm pointing out here in this gathering and on your free time, right? Get into that observing, which is I call this quantum mode. Like when there's observing, you know, everything dissolves, like even thought dissolves, right? In that moment, that is the, I call it quantum level. Okay, so that is always happening. Even there, it is there right now. Okay, so what is there is thought is distracting you. Of course, thought has to be present even to talk, right? You communicate, you know, thought has to be present. But what I'm saying here is the thought is operating dynamically. There is no logical assertion, right? I'm not thinking how everything is logically asserted, how everything is linearly involved. See, this is not happening here. This is happening spontaneously. So this whole purpose of this satsang is to be into that spontaneity. See, and somehow, you know, through this atomic transformation, somehow this occurred to here in this Moksha Mukti, right? And this is how I said this last time. Who is speaking here? You see, there's really no one is speaking here. You see, if it's conditioned thought, well, Robin Pandey is speaking, Moksha Mukti is speaking, right? But when this is happening spontaneously, in this moment, this is happening. Who is speaking here? There is no speaker, only speaking going on. So only speaking, right? And that is the functionality. The truth I'm trying to point is that that you have is the speaking going on is the functionality. This is one functionality, one aspect of you, true aspect of you, that is speaking going on, hearing going on, seeing going on, sensing going on, right? Smelling going on. So those are only happening. Those are your functionality. So we're here to point to that, right? So see, I mean, we miss out a lot of things. Like there is a lot of dynamism happening right now, that the bird is sitting over there and listening, you know. See that the breeze, the wind is breezing softly. There is no wind. Like a couple times it destroyed my green screen background. See, that is happening. And see, this is unique. This is what I pointed out last time. This is unique. This moment, like that cloud, the formation of that cloud is different now. See, last time it was completely different. It's around the same time, the wind is coming. It was like the wind, the rhythm was different. Now it's slowly. See, the tree is dancing slowly. So all this event is unique. You see, even the birds chirping is like the way they're chirping is uniquely. You see, it's a unique moment that is happening, that is present. So this is what I'm trying to point out, is that this moment is the moment that you have, moment to moment, is ever perpetuating present moment. That moment to moment that you have is the ever perpetuating. There is no past, there is no future. The past is here in the present moment. See, the moment something is thought, that's already in the past. That's already in the past, and this is ever perpetuating present moment. And we anticipate something about the future, and we recall something about the past. So what I'm pointing out is that it is happening simultaneously. The past is happening now, the future is happening now, the present is happening now, currently simultaneously. I know it's hard for you to gather. There are a lot of viewers, a lot of people that say, well, how can that be? You know, I don't understand that, right? But the past, present, and the future is happening simultaneously. You see, it is occurring simultaneously. And in a linear way, well, the past did occur. You know, if the past wasn't here, how can this setup happen, right? That's a linear thinking that sees that. And the linear thought also says, well, there's going to be, well, there was a future before, there was a past, there's a future, so it must be future Now there must be future that is going to happen now, I mean in the future, right? So that is coming from a law of average. If it occurred in the past, it is going to occur in the future, right? So this is all happening, and this comes from the law of average. The past happened, and we know past happened through the linear thinking, and we just realize that just this person just walking over here, right? So this occurred, and we know that's in your memory, and that past occurred, right? But that's just the linear way of seeing. The mind, the thought sees as a linear, but there is something within you that recognizes that everything is happening now. See, there is no past, there is no future, only now, right? Because future is just anticipation, and we talked about this last time. So it comes in the memory, and memory recalls, and now that just becomes my imagination that this person is walking, sitting over there, just describing, just recent activity, right? So that it is recalled from the memory. Now I cannot go back in the past, right? And I cannot go into the future. So only thing I know is now. So this is what this whole gathering is that you really know is about now. You see, you don't know anything about the past. You don't know anything about the future, but you know about this now. Like that bird is sitting there watching. You see, I can see that. I can smell what is happening. I can sense, the tingling that is going on. Somebody mosquito biting me. The mosquito might bite you. There's a mosquito biting you, but not much now. Maybe one or two mosquito biting. I can feel that. I can feel the sensation. I can feel my heartbeat. And you see, all these things happening dynamically that you can only really know about the present. Everything else is, is in your memory, that is recalling from the memory, and now that becomes your imagination of the past and imagination of the future, which is anticipation. And a lot of times past, future, present, and future, it's a linear thing, and most of the time you can anticipate what is going to happen. It's a repeating a lot of times. See, what is occurring in the past determines what is in the future. Not all the time, the most of the time that is happening, and thought sees that, linear thought sees that, and linear thought will say it is occurring. It's a chronological thing. So past is before, present is now, future is in the future, right? It's a chronological. But what I'm pointing out is that is all happening simultaneously. So when we talked about the quantum level, right? Quantum level is like you're observing is always going on. Observing is always going on, but your thought comes in, and you're taking action on thought. And we already talked about that last time too. Don't discard the thought. You can't even discard the thought, right? I mean, you can suppress the thought, but you can't discard it, because that's your energy. See, the moment you eat food, the energy comes up. It's a electromagnetic field. Well, actually, it's a biochemical process. The moment you feed, just like I plug it into electricity, there's a light here, right? And this light is diminishing. It was brighter. It is diminishing. Now there is the sun. And the same thing, your thought is there. And that diminishes your observing. That is even observing your thought, observing your activities. That is always going on. It's a recording. You see? It's always recording. That observing, you may call that unconscious or subconscious. That is always recording. So all the action that you do is always recording, right? So this is something like I don't want to really get into that, but something like a karma, see? Because that observing is pure. That observing is not yours. Your thought is yours. Thought is yours, but it's not really yours. It's kind of thought is yours. Your responsibility for your thought. The thing you think is you are responsible, and that will create layers in you. That will create like a water. Like if you drop a stone in the water, that will create the waves. That will leave some imprint in you, the thought, anything. But that observing is not yours. It's mine too. It's everybody's. It's a consciousness. That observing is always observing you. So if you do bad thought, the karma say if you do bad, it's going to come out, because that observing is always observing. And you feel remorse. Once you recognize that, you feel remorse. So why did I do that? Oh my God, you see, people are feeling remorse. And I'm going to go talk to this guy who is supposedly, he's not convicted yet, but once he's convicted, they prove that he did it. I'm going to go talk to that guy, this guy who murdered this lady in Colony.
Yeah.
You see, I went to her funeral, you see. And this is my area, I feel responsible. Not, I didn't really do it, but, I feel some sort of a responsibility, at least, to find out what's going on. So I'm going to go talk to that guy. Hey, man, why did you do it? I already know why you did it, but I just wanted to find out, right? And in one point, he may feel remorse. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, man. Why did I do that? You see, the remorse is the observing that is always going on. That observing is, it can't even hurt an ant. That observing, like, I'm walking sometimes, like I see small bugs, like, I don't want to step on it, because that observing is present, see. So when that observing is present, you see, that observing, it knows because it is the whole, it is the one with the universe, right? Any questions on that?
No, just curious why you wanted to. So what would be your intention in going to the guy and asking the question why he did that? Why
I just want to verify. What I say is, I know what I say is just in the observing, but by talking that, I want to verify, because what I want my viewers, my listeners, is I want you to verify it. Don't take anything for granted. Verify. Even the pointers I've given you, I am asking you to verify that within your functionality. Like I say, observing, right? Oh, okay, observing. Don't take it as observing. Recognize that in your own experiencing. Verify that. You see, do you see the observing within you? Once you see that, then it becomes truth. It's already truth, but it becomes truth for you, because it's not truth. When I'm telling you there's observing, it's not truth. Once you recognize that, then it becomes truth for you. You see? So what I'm asking is to verify that. So I want to verify that, because this is my immediate experiencing. You see, I am participating in life fully and passionately. So anything around me, I want to verify that. That's the reason I want to go ask questions.
So is it it's to probably not even trying to investigation sense, but it's kind of like just sensing where that person is at.
Verification, verify. I already know why verify. I already know why he did it.
Yeah.
Right. I already know he is in remorse. Right. I just want to verify that. Okay. From this immediate experience. So once I verify that, go in there, I can speak about that. It becomes, when I speak that, it gives a substance. Right now, a lot of things I may say sounds like empty. Right. Well, you said that, but where's the proof? Show me the proof. So now I can, go back and I speak to this person. I know I can probably record the conversation. If he lets me record it, I can play it back and say, look, this is what is happening. You see, it gives the substance. This gathering becomes substantial. It's just like empty. A lot of people you go listen to. I know you've been to a lot of places, right? You are somehow, I see you as an awakened person. You see, like there's a difference between you and other people, right? So you are seriously investigating that, right? So that means, what does that mean?
We have found this.
He has to somehow recognize that. There is a recognition there. So once you recognize that, there is an investigation. There is a need for investigation. There's a need to go somewhere, right? And you could be, like I said, you go to all these places, and some place it just feels like it's a hollow, empty. Like you see, listen to a lot of people, there is no substance. They talk about all day. They talk about all these words. They may use words like consciousness, awareness. I also use that, but they use all this extraordinary high sounding, high words that people don't normally use in everyday conversation, right? And they will kind of hypnotize you into the emptiness. But what I'm giving you is I'm giving you substance, you know, and I'm giving you, you know, like everyday usefulness that you can use it, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. See, that's the reason I, you know, I want to go talk to him, you know. I mean, that's what I want to do, but I don't know whether I'll do it or not. But you know, I would do, if I have a chance, I'll definitely go and do it.
Yeah, and when I listen, sometimes, you know, I not only listen to understand, but I sometimes listen to just be observing. You know, it doesn't have to mean
Yeah,
anything.
maybe you're
Right.
going through that awakening. You're going through that recognition. You're going through that, right? And that hits you. You see. Yeah, there's a plane. It happens all the time. You see. And feel free to observe. You know. That's like about one engine Cessna. See, once you or recognize that, you want to investigate. You want to. I mean, it just happened, but you want to recognize what that is. See, that's why you do all this investigation. You go all these places. You listen to all these people, right? And like I said, this is what I said last time, right? Once you really recognize that, and it hits you like a lightning bolt, just like it hit me, there is no need for you to listen to anyone. I mean, once you recognize it, I mean, it becomes so clear. And you know, for me, the experience was like, you know, I had this epiphanic experience. I mean, I was really feeling good. I don't know if you, I mean, that brushes off. See, that feeling good, that brushes off. You see, it gives you, when this being is feeling that good, there's also brushing off. You guys also feel good. You see, that feeling good, right? That is occurs. But for me, it was epiphanic experience for many months, several months. You see, and it was so vivid. I mean, for me, maybe the you know, this so-called enlightenment occurred in 1994. You see, I mean, if you read my article that I wrote in 1994, you read it? I know you've been following me for like almost 3 years, right? So yeah, I mean, that article I wrote, I was like, oh man, how did I know that? You see, I mean, something has already happened in 1994, but something hit me in 2009. You know, I mean, after that, there's no need for me to listen to anyone, no need for to listen to anybody's book. You know, people ask me, hey, do you read Bhagavad Gita? I mean, I just read one now and then just for the reference, like, you know, I already know. And I sometimes cited Bhagavad Gita. I was talking to my father-in-law. I thought he was going to join, but I think he's sleeping. I recited this Bhagavad Gita. I completely forgot the line, but you know, it's like a natve bahu jatu nasam natve neme. I mean, I don't know, you know, some words, right? I better drink some water and clean that up. But this,
you didn't say cheers this time.
cheers. So I mean, I haven't. I'm just like
broke your conditioning.
No. I have like this is dynamic. So this is like I said cheers when I drink it, like when I drink the whole water, right? I may say that, right? That's conditioning. That's part of the conditioning, right? Speaking of that, you know, grab yourself water if you want to get the water, you know. And I recommend you take the breakfast after we're done, you know,
Okay.
so it becomes like a, you know, something that is spiritual or prasad. And let's go back to, and I'll say cheers like when I drink the water, whole water.
Gotcha.
Let's go back to your questions, right? So your question was like a spiritual and science, like how that is related, right? Let me just read it, like see if I have a question here. So you say about spiritual and science, how does that
Spirit realm,
yeah, real
not spiritual. Like
spirit realm? Okay, so let me just read the question here. So
That's a good question, though.
okay,
I don't know whether it makes sense.
and the questions you're asking, and it also, you see, you're also trying to awake. I recognize that. See, the awakening is always there. You see, the awakening is always there, right? And you are trying to recognize. I already have a question here. Okay, so you talked about multiverse. How is spirit realm and quantum awareness related? Is there any spirit realm according to Moksha Mukti?
Spirit realms.
So okay, So okay, let's get into that. Okay, so let's take a let's go simplify this, right? So what I'm doing is simplifying, so I call it spirit. When you say spirit, right? So let's ask you a question. What do you mean by spirit?
Like dead people,
It's
ghosts, and
you calling spirit because you've heard it. You read it somewhere. Someone, yeah. Okay, let's recognize that. Let's get down to that. See, this is about truth, right? Let's get down and dirty about the truth, right? Let's get down and dirty about the spirit. What is spirit? Spirit is breath. It's a breath. It's a Latin word. Spirit is a breath. You are spiritual the moment you're breathing. And the spirit realm is breathing. So breathing, what is happening? There is awareness. Isn't it? In that breathing there is also awareness. So spirit realm is always breathing that is taking place. Inhalation and exhalation. That is spirit. That is spirit realm. You see, in that realm there is no thought involved. You see, even that level, right? There is no thought involved. So it's breathing, you're recognizing breathing. That is spiritual. And if you go to monastery, people do not speak. They just sit there and do meditate. They're watching their breath. Even Buddhist, mainly Buddhist culture, even Christian, like a Catholic, and traditional Christians, they're similar. Their tasks are similar than like a Buddhist. They also meditate. They also observe the breath. So the breath is happening. So that is the spiritual realm, right? And the scientific, the awareness is also part of that, because see, there is a connection between the breathing in and out, and there is awareness. See, the observing is going on, right? But that observing is separate. See, breathing is taking place. Maybe breathing, that spirit may help you become more observant, or not, to recognize that observing. So breath helps you recognize that observing. So that's how people say we are spiritual. Okay. So the spirit realm, right? And it's a quantum awareness, right? How spirit and quantum awareness related? So yeah. So quantum awareness is just that observing I mentioned, right? And in there, the distraction from the thought is not there. Even the sun is out here. This light is still 200 watts. It has not diminishes. The light is still there, and that recognition is still there, 200 watts. That observing is still there in you, right? So the spiritual realm is your breathing, and even this is like a word that musicians use, right? What they say, well, let's breathe in and let the music talk. That needs to be breathing space. And when people are tense, what do they do? They even don't breathe sometimes. See, when the situation becomes difficult, hey, come on, breathe, relax. Right?
So the comparison between
Can you speak in the mic?
So the comparison between this light bulb and the sun, to take that analogy into comparison between the thought and being aware, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the more you become aware,
Mm-hmm.
is pretty much compared to being in the presence of the sun, and then that kind of makes that thought, the power of the thought, or makes it diminish more and more, and makes you become more aware. Is that kind of like a comparison?
Yeah. So the comparison taking place by what? By thought.
Yeah.
Thought is comparing that, right? So you are recognizing that with your thought, and there is something within you that is also called clarity. Like I can see that, I can recognize that. You see, and that takes place when there is a minimum amount of thought. You see, because like in human beings things like about 70, I read it somewhere, right? You think about 70,000 thoughts, right? Today maybe people think about 100,000 thoughts. You see, because why? Because there's so much going on. You see, even with the phone world, there's people texting all the time. Those are all thoughts. You see?
Yeah, every picture can turn into thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Every view.
The moment you step back and say, this is a flower, that's a thought. Who the hell knows what that is? You see, it's atoms. And in that recognition level, right, the awareness level, the quantum level that I'm speaking about, there is not really knowing. It knows, but not knowing like thought, right? Thought comes in and say, in relation to this and that, is comparing, right? So when you say, well, I recognize that, well, this becomes more clear, right? This observing becomes more clear, because the moment the thought is not distracting you, that awareness takes place. Just like this light is brighter, that awareness kicks into your experiencing. So you are all experiencing that in that observing is going on, experiencing is going on, right? Experiencing is related to your body and mind, right? Observing is observing, that is everybody's.
And what that observing thing, that's called awareness and quantum awareness, that knows everything actually, right?
Yeah, that knows everything, peculiarly, not the way the thought knows. So people ask you, if it knows, like, tell me everything. Hey, you know everything, why don't you tell me? You see, now when you speaking, it comes to the thought level, right? Even thought is, there is a spontaneity, like, there's no logically happening. It's like fire. You see, the fire is burning, right? And you cannot capture that. It burns and it moves. And what I'm pointing out is this knowing is like a fire. And I try to entertain your question, right, in my thought. So when I say entertaining, that means you think in your thought. That's entertainment. You see, all the movies that's people are written, you see, that's entertainment. You're thinking. See, even you can get entertainment out of thought. So people are obsessed with the thought because it gives you entertainment. It gives you many ways to go, this way, that way, you see. So you are entertaining in that thought, right? But this consciousness, this spontaneity is like a fire. There is no entertainment. This is what is happening. You're just moving it, you see. And that recognize that.
And it knows everything actually.
It knows everything there is to know. There is to know. It knows everything there is to know. Not the way that you know your thought.
And that thing, once you're aware, your brain started you started to use more brains, like in the movie Lucy, like he was kind of aware. Have you seen that movie?
No.
I
So
was trying to link.
yeah, so brain. Okay, so when you say awareness, like in a way, you see, you cannot even be aware without the thought. Thought is always present, right? Thought is always present. So you can't really be aware without the thought. But there's the subtle thoughts, right? The subtle thought is still a thought, but it's a subtle thoughts. You see, that is always going on, and that subtle thought is sort of like observing that is going on, right? So mind awareness is, there is awareness that is, you're talking, I think I know what you're asking, right? The awareness that you're asking about the mind is the, like last time I described, there's a body level, there's a sensual level, there's an intelligence level, and there's a quantum level, right? So body level, right? Body level, like even thought, even that is thought. Sensual level, there is also thought.
Yeah.
Like I am sensitive, like I can smell, I can hear, I can touch, all this thing, right? So that is also happen. That is also thought. But the intelligence is purely thought, is slower than sensual. Sense is fast, and there is an emotion, right? Emotion is also a thought, but it's a fast thought. Intelligent thought is slower thought. It's slow. And in that intelligent level, like maybe that you're asking about the Lucy, is that level the intelligence is crystallized, and you become aware because now your thought is crystallized. You see? But there's a difference between crystallized thought and the awareness, the observing. You see, that is never crystallized. But the thought is crystallized, now that becomes clear, just like crystal. That's why they call it crystal. It's a crystallized, it becomes clear, but that's still thought. Do you see that?
So when you say thought, I mean, there is always a definition on how you view thought is, right? So my definition of the thought was basically the one that you just said about intellectual level. Anything that comes to your mind, a thought that you actually can write down. I was thinking of the thought at that level, but now since you described the thought, the way you defined is a little different than what I conventionally view the thought was.
Yeah.
I
Even
think whenever you
yeah.
talk about thoughts now, it's going to be
Yeah.
more clear on what you're
Yeah,
talking
even like
about.
you asked me a question last time, right? Sensation, emotion, those are all thought. That's what I'm saying. Even feelings are thoughts. Your mom taught you feelings, or somebody taught you feelings. Even father taught you feelings. It comes from that, and that thought, you see, is a feeling, and it's taught. It's taught to you. It's taught to you, and the feeling, it separates. Like there's a difference. There's some sort of difference between the feeling thought, emotional thought, and sensation thought, than intellectual thought. And now majority people think, well, when I think, you see, that's the intelligent level.
Yeah.
But there are other thoughts, you see, and people describe it as a lower level thoughts, right? And that's the illusion is that the people, like, they're thinking in intelligent level. That's the only thought. See, I'm thinking. You see, like they'll say that. Yeah, go ahead.
Since we're talking about thought, you saw thought is so important.
I didn't say important.
Like every level there is a thought. Emotion level, every level there is a thought. So how?
No, don't. I didn't say important.
Okay, anyway, there is thought all over, right? There is thought.
Thought is
all over
arising.
to live.
Thought is arising from food. I said, right? Energy, right? And it's a biochemical process. It is happening all the time. Whether you, use your memory, your knowledge to relate to that thought is happening automatically.
My question was, how can we balance between that observing awareness and the things that we have to do every day with the thought around, like, because thought is always there and the observing is there.
Yeah,
so
that's
how
the
do
problem.
we balance in? So how much?
That's the problem. That's a paradox of living. That is the paradox of living, right? And the more you try to entertain, see, that is entertaining thoughts. The more you try to ask questions, how, where, when, what, see, all these things, and we need those to function in the society. Without those, we can't even, function this. We can't even have this gathering, you see. So this is all taking place, right?
So do you,
and the more, what I'm asking to do here, right, in this satsang gathering is, even if you have a thought, just observe the thought and see. You see, what I'm saying is, like, if you observe the thought dissolves. You see, and you see, what you're doing is you're trying to know something. You see, and one of my friend and relative, I said good morning, and he said, well, coincidentally, I am talking to my other brother-in-law. I'm also his brother-in-law. My other brother-in-law about quantum stuff. So he knows about quantum stuff. He has a lot of knowledge. See, what you're trying to do is gain knowledge. You're asking how, right? What I'm pointing here is discard the knowledge, go into that observing and observe that thought. You see, even observe.
So do you recommend doing that all the time?
No, I didn't say it. No.
Like
No.
No.
Then people will call you lunatic.
That's what. Yeah. So only on the satsang we should.
No, the
go
whole
back
point
and
of the whole
observe.
point of here, the whole point of this gathering is to get in that quantum level, to recognize that, right? So what I'm asking is, once you recognize that, okay, once you recognize that, well, this is happening here, and I'm just assuming that also going to happen there, right? And it happened to me here by pure luck or serendipity, right? It just occurred like that. So what I'm pointing here, by coming here, maybe that observing level, you can carry that everywhere you go, everything you do, thought is arises, and that is always present. Then you can always feel that, you can always recognize it. Hey, I am doing everything like I'm watching a movie. Why take life seriously? See, everything, it doesn't become serious. See, you gotta pay bills, you gotta, take my daughter to ballet, you have to, my wife will ask me to do many things, like we have people coming over in the nighttime, we have some relatives coming over. See, all these things happening. I'm not thinking like that. At least this moment. This moment is spontaneity, this moment is observing, that is observing, even that is observing. And certainly I know that is there. See? And what I'm asking here, by coming here, become aware of that. Even the thought that you have, I said don't ask the question, ask questions. Yeah, I mean, you want to, ask questions, but turn off that mode that wants to know, and bring out that observing. And observe within your experiencing. See, that is your experiencing now. You see, you're observing that. And observing. And all, see, and that observing knows. Everything I know, everything that's coming out of my mouth, you already know that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's so intelligent, but why it's taking so much?
So that's the
time to
problem. The thought
understand.
will say that. Why it's taken to me? Because you're going to thought level. See, if I go to that thought level, if I entertain my thought, see, even it's going to take Moksha Mukti long time. And the prayer we're going to do, quantum prayer, is fast. You see? It's fast. But if I entertain my thought, it becomes slow. Then people say, oh, they close their eyes. Just to do one prayer, they can take them 45 minutes, 1 hour, sitting there meditating, and they're sleeping, falling asleep. But when I point out, you do it fast. You see? That level, you see, that's fast. But the thought is taking so long. This is what I mentioned last time. You see, we go to the outer space. The yogi has already gone to outer space and described what is there. You see, but for humans, other humans taking so long to go to Mars. It takes like 6 months to go to rover. You see, 6 months, where he can go instantly and come back instantaneously. You see, for a rover it's taken, because you're using thought. Thought is slow, intelligence is slow. It's powerful. We have already been to the Mars and shown with our eyes. Many people can see that now. Rover has going there collecting data for us to colonize Mars. That is taken slow. So if you want to go that path, it's going to take you slow. You see, because thought hasn't gotten. Thought is the one that is giving you problem. That's the reason we need to do this, right? This is necessity. This thing is necessity. People, well, I speak with the people from Nepal. They just come here. Well, when they come from Nepal, well, I want to go to America. I want to find out all this. I want to experience this Western experience. That's the demand for Eastern people to experience Western experience, right? And the demand for Western people to experience Eastern experience. So that people go to India, Nepal, and to get that Eastern experience. And once they recognize that spiritual experience, people are spiritual in Nepal, because they have to bear so much physical pain, physical endurance, like people live in the hills, just to get to water. You see, you can turn on the tap here, it gets you water, filter water. There they have to bring water. You see, I heard one of my friend was saying, he's saying, well, I feel really good knowing this guy, because see, for him it takes whole day to bring water for that day. Like, he goes in the morning, and by the time it goes to night time, so we have water for tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So it takes whole day to bring water from bottom. See, that creates some experiencing, you see. And the earthquake, shook a lot of people. That also create experiencing. See, every 80 years earthquake goes, people, that it creates experiencing. So people will become spiritual. So that gives you different experience. So speaking about that, in a Christianity there is a Lent, right? Lent is something you give up for 40 days. There's a story in the Bible that says that Jesus Christ was in desert, like somewhere in Israel or some a Middle Eastern country. There is a desert. I have to go back check the exact story. Again, I say that story because that's we know as a story, right? That story, Jesus Christ was in the desert 40 something days. Didn't even have food to eat in the desert. He survived, and during that it gives him tremendous experience, and people want to experience that. Now and give up something for 40 days. And one time I know it just occurred to me, I just gave Facebook for 40 something days during the Lent without even knowing there was a Lent. See, I just feel like giving up because that experiencing is there. That creates experiencing in others because that's one experience. If that occurred, maybe that occurred. You see, that's a story, right? And people in Christianity, they give up something for I think they fast, like give up one meal or something for 40 something days, and they call it Lent. And in Easter, the day after Jesus Christ, resurrection, that time, and they start eating food, so they fast. You see, and by doing that, by even like you fast, right, brother in Nepal, right, and women usually do that. Like Tej is coming up, I think you'll fast, right? So fast will give you experience that you don't get it by doing other experience. You see, so what is happening here is we're trying to get experience. So people come to America to get experience, Western experience. Wow, big houses. How did they build a building? Wow, I want to go there. I want to play some casino, or well, they build this Rushmore in Mount Rushmore, or they built that, or they build the NASA. Let's go to Houston. There's a NASA. How did they build that? We want to see that. We want to experience that, right? So that is all is happening is experiencing, right? But there is a need to that. But even the experiencing, there is a need to be this home. See, by coming here, you feel like this is your home. I'm talking about not like this home, but experiencing level. That is your home, and you crave for that. You see, you demand that. Because thought is distracting you, it's making you exhausted. Humans are exhausted on the planet, you see.
Yeah, and usually when you have the experiencing, you definitely want to. When you have the experiencing, you definitely want to translate it on the intellectual level, like a summary and all that.
That's
right?
Thought does that.
Yeah, and so speaking of the thought pattern, like intellectual, the body, the emotion, and all that, where does the beliefs and the subconscious conditioning falls under? Does it fall under the intellectual side or the emotional side, or?
Yeah, I mean, I can answer that, but let me put you on a spot right now, okay? So there's like an onion layers. See, the thought will say this is a higher level, this is a lower level, right? Thought is doing that intelligence level, that's a higher level. Oh, because everything is crystallized, all the dealings are in that level, all the laws are written in that level, all the people in the Congress, all the judges, all the lawyers, all the senators, president into that level. Not so much president is administrative, but the Congress and Senate in that level, they're talking about all this crystallized thought, so higher level, and that must be great. That's the way thought is thinking there, right? And there are other emotion that is also thought, but that is not crystallized, right? Emotion, you say, maybe come from heart, from other part of the body. You see, it's not crystallized, and there is no logical way. You see, people were taught by logical way, we're taught by linear way, and we cannot linearize that. You know what my linearize? We cannot linearize that thinking. We cannot logically assert that thinking. We cannot put mathematics. We cannot have a scientific. We cannot have some sort of a mathematics. So because of that, hey, that is lower level. That is emotion. That is a feeling. We just say like that. That is thought is doing that, right? But why do you want to be concerned? Who wants to know that? Thought wants to know. Thought is again, you're coming back to square one, because when you think like that, I don't say don't think like that. Think, but but why do you want to entertain that thought? You see, I mean, in the quantum level, everything is same. Intelligence same, emotion is same, because they're all thought. It's coming from your thought, but not the crystallized thought that logic is 2 plus 2 is 4, but right? Is 2 plus 2 equals 4? I mean, is it really true?
To me, because the scope and the definition of 2 plus 2 equals 4, I mean, that's at least true for me.
It's true for the thought that you have,
Yeah.
right? But is it true? If you ask the question, scientists ask, is it true? You see, people will give you a different answer, and they'll give you compelling evidence.
It's not true. according to Moksha?
No, I don't want to say it's not true. What I'm saying is there are people out there, intelligent people, scientist people, mathematical people, they will say 2 plus 2 is not equal to 4, right? But we have learned, we are conditioned 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. We're conditioned, so we'll say 2 plus 2 is 4. And all the dealings you have to deal with every day from the morning to even 2 plus 2, you have to use that, you see. And I'm not going to say 2 plus 2 is false, but I'm saying there are people, and the whole purpose here is not like entertain, like, well, 2 plus 2 is 4. That's true. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to even ask that, is 2 plus 2 equals 4? Ask that. You see, that observingly, that awareness asks that. So this is the whole thing about it. It is 2 plus 2 equals 4. Ask for it.
Yeah,
See?
and the classic example of what you believe to be true may later on turn out to be at least not the whole truth. Some of the cases when Earth was believed to be the center of the universe and everything revolved around, and some point in time Sun was actually revolving around the Earth was actually revolving around the Sun was found out later on, and that type of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
that is the interpretation of the mind.
Yeah.
You see, what I'm pointing out, 2 plus 2 is 4 is interpretation of the mind. You see, interpretation of mind is still a thought. You see, the earth is round. One time earth was flat, right? Earth was flat. People say earth was flat. And I was speaking with the Rick Archer on the Bad Gap, right? I don't know if you saw my interview. I was speaking with him. When I say, speaking about that, I said, well, he says there's still people out there who believe earth is flat, and they even have a website, and there's thousands of followers. Earth is flat. But who knows?
Yeah.
See, we see the round earth, but nowadays people are saying it's a quantum, it's a hologram, it's a wave function, it's a hologram.
Yeah.
You see, earth is hologram. So would you believe earth is hologram, or would you believe earth is round?
Yeah.
You see, so this is all happening. What I'm pointing out is a scientific will come up here, every 4 years and change something, come up with different theories. So even we have to question scientific evidence, you see. Even but I am accepting a lot of quantum things because what I see here is supported by quantum theory, and I'm going to speak about that. Looks like you have questions.
Yeah. So basically, I'm okay with the belief that the Earth is flat from my practical purposes, right?
Yeah, the
But
practical
when I have
purpose.
to-
Practical
when I have
purpose.
To, take a world tour and all that stuff. If I know that Earth is round, I go on a ship and go
Yeah,
straight
practical.
line, and I come back in that.
Practical.
In that level, if you think Earth is flat, then you think that even if you go round and round at the same place, you'll be thinking you are in a new place every time you come around to the same.
Yeah,
point,
that's for
right?
practical purpose. It's a
Yeah.
scientific purpose, and again, that is also questionable.
Yeah. So every knowledge
And
is
every
still
knowledge
questionable,
is questionable. Every knowledge, every theory, everything is questionable. Everything is, what I'm pointing out is false in that level, and this is what I pointed out. Okay, so everything is false. Everything is questionable. So question that in this level, right? When you come here, we are questioning that. You see, we were even questioning that.
Got it.
Oh.
Sorry.
So we are questioning that. We are questioning all the knowledge. You see, those are knowledge, scientific knowledge, right? Even like, right now, the science will say, let's wait for him to, so we can entertain that that question. But everything is questionable. You cannot just accept it until you see that in your own experiencing. See, you have experiencing. Once you see that, then you can say, well, I accept that.
You talked about experience, and you say you want to experience. Who is this you who wants to experience this quantum level, quantum awareness? You said you.
Experience, in a physical level, that's you, right? Physical level. Experience is a physical mind and body, right? That is experiencing that. But the experiencing is independent to experiences. So body experiences, but the experiencing is everybody's. Just like that, observing is everybody's, right? Do you see the difference? Right? So the experience and experiencing. experiencing is everybody's, observing is everybody's. And actually this is a machine. So once you see yourself a machine, right, and thought will come say, hey, I'm not a machine. My mother told me, my mother, I have a feeling, I have this. Those are all thought. I said, right? Those are all thought, learned thought, acquired thought. And because of those things, well, hey, I have a feeling. I'm not a machine, but we are a machine. See, we are a machine. We are a biological machine, and we are experiencing, and we are observing. We are doing, happening. These are all happening, right? So that's these are all doing, and then we cannot accept anything in this level. I don't accept anything. I don't believe in anybody. But the function in the society, I have to accept that Earth is round. Otherwise, everybody will call me loony, right? And there's always method available to go to space, like this. But I am questioning even that. One day will be outdated. There will be other method to go, and you will be surprised. Like if you live to 500 years, you'll be surprised that the Earth is not round. People will not say Earth is round.
It's not round.
Huh?
It's not round.
Oh no. Don't don't take anything. Just I am pointing. What I'm pointing is like now. Right now, Earth is round. See, we have to accept that. It's a collective knowledge, right? If I said Earth is not round, then they'll put me into category Earth is flat. There's a website and people follow that. Right? They'll put him in that category. But what I'm saying is 500 years from now, people will not say Earth is round because there will be other methods to go out of space. Beam me up, Scotty. It's in the Star Trek, right? It's in the Star Trek. Beam me up, Scotty. You beam up and you're into different galaxy. Instantly. See, there will be molecularly, they'll transfer the molecules, all the molecules, and put in different galaxy. So there will be way to transfer like that. Once that happens, Earth is round, it vanishes. Just like people believe Earth is flat, it vanishes. Okay? So what I'm asking is, to function in the society, I have to accept that even to work, I have to do work, and I have to follow a lot of scientific thing, logic. Those you have to accept that. Yes, I accept that. All the logic that we are taught, all the new logic that is coming up. I read about new things like quantum. See, quantum physics, that is close to what I experience here. See, quantum physics. You see, that is all happening, right? That I see in my experiencing this revelation that is occurring, this experience that is happening, and I see that is close to the quantum physics. Then I say, well, I accept that, right? And the new evidence comes in, then the other experience comes in. Then I say, well, wait a minute. That there is something else that's not true.
So in this confusion, what we gonna teach our kids? Like
No. There's no confusion. Don't confuse. Okay, this gathering right here, we're not trying to confuse anybody. And a lot of people.
That's not the intention, right?
A lot of that's not intention. That is a purpose. The
saying
gathering
that
here is simple. There is a gathering is simple. Simpling is that you are here observing. You are here experiencing
so
and
should
observing.
we teach this to our kid?
No, you don't teach. I don't teach this to my kids. She has to know what's written in the textbook. She has to learn that, pass the exam. Her main first goal is read the textbook and pass the exam so she can get a job down the street so she can earn money. Right? But if this grows, right, this gathering grows, like more people come in, hey, Moksha Mukti, he's saying something, he's pointing something that is, worth listening. That is worth seeing. That is worth coming to this gathering. That's worth hearing, saying. The more people accept that, maybe this grows. Maybe I can ask my daughter, look, you don't even need to go to school anymore. And I'm not against the school. The school is right there. I support the school. I donate. I go there. I support the school. I'm not against that. You see, but this is taking place dynamically, and if this grows, this grows. You see. Just like Christianity grew, Buddhism grew. If it grows, grows. It's happening spontaneously. It is happening automatically. If it grows, there is no. But I'm not against anything. I'm not against Buddhism. I'm not against Christianity. I'm not against school. I support the school. I take my daughter. Actually, I'm the one who is pushing my daughter. Every morning, my daughter, go to school. Go to school. See, and we're teaching everything that's in the textbook. We're teaching everything what teacher says. So we have to accept what teacher says in that level, right? By coming here, discussing, there are also a group of people. They're also coming with a new textbook, discussing beyond, and the textbook that is today is outdated tomorrow because people are discussing now in the room like this. Not on Saturdays, but weekdays there are people discussing that come out with new textbook. You see, but once out there in the written, and then we have to accept that because that becomes collective agreement. You see, for the society. So you have to accept that. I accept that to function in the society. I accept that during the workplace. I accept logic, all that, and you have to teach like that. But for you, you're coming here not for your kids. You're coming here not for your kids. You're coming here for your own experiencing. However, I pointed out last time, by quantum prayer, like we're gonna do quantum prayer for your son today, right? And you see, but you're not here for your kids. You're here. This gathering is for your own experiencing. So you are coming to that. Recognize that. See, and once you do that, you can carry everything. Everything you go, you can carry this, and this becomes your way of life, and you'll be, in a way, happy. You'll be free, liberated. You become Moksha Mukti. You see, by coming here, it's for you. It's not for anyone else. You see.
So I mean, from the very past and all that, we have so many great religious figures like Christ, Buddha, and the like folks, all the way down to this point in time, right? Why is the transmission of the experiencing that those figures experience was so hard to transmit, where they become similar to what people, what's out there to experience, versus everything got kind of translated into the text. Do this, don't do that. This is the path. This is how you walk.
Again, see, again, deeper level. Like if you are observing your own thought right now, okay, observing that is there in the present, and that is there in the present, and if you tap into that observing, it's telling you that is coming from your thought, and there is two things happening. This is, I said before, there is two things happening because of the deviation in the nature. We have this self-separateness mechanism, and you are trying to be separate. You are separating yourself and seeing that. And once you're seeing that you are asking question why that's separate, and you are trying to achieve or become two things. Because of the self-separateness, you are believing in that self-separateness, right? You are believing in that, and you are seeing yourself in that which you already that. Jesus Christ, Moksha Mukti, Buddha, whatever, you see, all the thing, you are already that. What I'm pointing out. Now you're trying to separate yourself. You're actually moving away from that.
Yeah.
Which
we can't, right?
You are already moving away. Let me point you. You're moving away from that, right? By asking these questions, by being in the believing in your thought. See, the observing that already knows. You see, now you're asking the question, and you want to become something, and you want to achieve something, or you want to learn something to become that. See, do you see the differences? Because of that separateness mechanism. That's all that thing is coming from there. You see, now you're separating yourself.
You means your thought, right?
Yeah, it's you. When I say you, is your thought, your condition. You see, if that wipes out, that cleans out, then you'll just make your life disaster, and you don't even want this. I've been speaking with one of my friends. You don't want this. You say, well, I want to get what you have. So you don't want it.
Yeah, I'm really glad that from my the beginning, from childhood to now, I've been through different religious backgrounds, or even the non-religious.
That's your condition.
And all that, right?
That's your condition.
So I'm really glad that I'm at the point where I can actually explore that there is something outside of that conditioning.
That's a one thought, one condition
available to everyone, right?
One condition, you're trying to be another condition. Still trying to be conditioned in that. In there, what you are experiencing or describing, in there you are trying to be conditioned differently. Still, you are trying to condition. That's what I'm pointing out. So you're still trying to be conditioned, but different experiencing. That's what a lot of things happening. The Western people are conditioned Western way. Now they're trying to be conditioned Eastern way. They're still trying to be conditioned, but I'm trying to be. I'm pointing it to be free from that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I got a sense of what you are trying to point us to and all that. Yeah.
I'm pointing to that. Whether you see that or not, that's a different story.
I can sense that actually. Yeah.
So what I'm asking is like in there, you recognize that. In there, recognize that there is no need to calculate. See, now you're calculating. You're gonna say, well, the collective well, people have put Buddha in this level. People have put Jesus in this level. So I want to become that. You see, and you cannot become that. There is no way you can become that unless there is a collective agreement. And the collective agreement, it may happen, it may not happen. That's by chance. That's a serendipity. You see, it's pure luck. There's nothing you can do to take you there. You see,
Yeah.
there are other Jesus Christ. There are other Buddhas. They didn't become Buddha. Buddha became Buddha because, this is what I read, and this is what I think I see here. Buddha became Buddha because a lot of people, a lot of kings with the power, they promoted
Yeah.
Buddhism. Then he became Buddha.
Yeah. Makes sense.
A lot of kings, King Solomon, King Ashoka did Buddhism. King Solomon, he did Christianity. It became Christianity. Some king with the power, you see. King with the finances. Constantine. Yeah,
Yeah.
Constantine. I say King Solomon. Constantine, exactly. Constantine is the king who did that. It's a king, no matter what. It's someone with a tremendous power. They have a marketing. They have resources to market you, and they become Christianity. And I was gonna say something. This may offend Christian people, but I don't want to say that. But I just read it like recently that this Christian person, well, scholar, he's saying that Christianity, I don't really mean to offend that, and I'm not saying that this is true, but I read it. This Christian person who is powerful in the Christian community, knowledgeable, respected person, come out and say that the Christianity, whole story of Jesus Christ was fabricated.
Yeah, I've heard
Fabricated
that,
by Roman Empire. Okay, and see, like I said, there is a relation. The king, the power, people with the power, they can change the way things, how people view things, right? They have a money, and they have a resources, and they have a power and authority to change the way you think, change the way you view. So what he is saying, okay, I'm not here to offend Christian people. Okay, I'm not against Christianity. I'm not against anybody, any religion, any society. I'm just happy to be here. You see, I'm not here to come a peace and but what he is saying, there is a fabricate.
Yeah, and yeah, I've been a very good observant of the Christian culture and all that from a long time, and that's pretty much what I observed. What the Jesus was in the Bible, and what he represented of the all the free spirit and the freedom that that is available to every one of us. Got translated into religious text, and it was kind of like presented in such a way that it was
Yeah, that
supposed
what
to be
according to
something
him,
that was
I
supposed to be
don't recall the
followed,
name.
and
Yeah.
rituals and all that was kind of like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
definitely
see, I
sounds
don't
like
recall his name, but I can go back and do research, and next time I can quote his name, right? But I'm not here to quote anybody's name. This is happening spontaneously. I don't program anything. This is not programmed. See, I know that we have to talk about two things, and I'll get to that two things, right? But this is not program, and I'm not here to quote anybody's name. You see, even, but I'll bring out his name. What he said that, right? So what he said that is king of the power. Roman was powerful at the time, just like Hindu became powerful, right? The Sanskrit language became the whole global language, right? Because of the old that we know is the Hastinapur. I think that's the Vedic. I think my father-in-law probably knows that Hastinapur was the capital of the world. Just like Rome was capital of the world, today the capital of the world, well, until certain point, maybe still today, capital of the world is Washington DC, right? It's a dominant power. London was powerful. Rome was powerful. Hastinapur was powerful, right? So all this thing was powerful, and because of the king, they Roman king, they hired a bunch of scholars, bunch of religious forerunners, and they collected this story. And some people are still saying that some people are saying it's come from Muslim, just like I also say. I also said that all the Veda and all the Mahabharata, the Ramayana was written. This guy sitting in the jungle drinking soma juice, and people are hearing saying, I read it like a group of people saying they take this mushroom. Okay, this mushroom that gives you hallucination feeling. So when you do that, you into hallucination, you tap into the subtle level. You tap into that information, right? And speaking about information, this information that is collected, everything that is collected in this universe, collected, and it doesn't pass multiverse. And we'll get into the multiverse in a second. It doesn't. It only stays in this universe, but the energy can transform to different universe, right? So all the information collected here only stays here in this universe. So information stays here. So everything we think, everything we collect, all the information stays here, but the energy transforms. But in this universe, there's only energy and information. It's a dance of molecules that is happening, right?
On the quantum level, right?
We say quantum level just to be distinguished,
Yeah. So.
But in reality, let's.
Yeah. When I was looking at that, the post that you did yesterday about Pink Floyd, right? There was a prism, and the white light is coming on this side of the prism, and when it passes through that prism, there is like a spectrum of 7
That's
colors
illusion.
and all that, right?
That's illusion.
So when we talk about quantum level versus this physical level, are we talking about quantum level in a sense of it's a white light on this side, and when you look at it
Neither
from that
light,
side,
nothing.
and the other side is the physical level where there is like a spectrum, but it is coming out of the same one truth, basically.
No.
You know?
It's the same. How you understand?
No. Quantum level, the reality is here.
Yeah, it's just we do
It's
not.
this
Some
level.
people understand. Some people doesn't understand. It's the same actually.
Not understanding. Understanding is coming from the thought.
Yeah, but
Recognizing,
yeah.
seeing in your own experiencing.
So basically, when you describe quantum level, it is same thing as saying
Reality.
the Atman, the self.
Yeah, some
the
people say
witness.
Atma, some people say
Yeah,
soul,
I mean,
self, true state being. They'll say that. But what I'm saying is quantum level because now I accept that because quantum theories are coming and I am accepting those theories, right? What I see here, experiencing, like simultaneously that is happening. I've been saying this, past, present, future, that is happening simultaneously. The energy cannot be destroyed. Information, there is only information, energy, that is happening, right? And the prism, the experience you gave, that is that's a seeing. You see that, and that's coming from a thought, that is coming from condition. If there is no condition, you don't even know there is a pyramid. So you don't even see the pyramid. You don't even see the line if you're not conditioned. And I'll tell you a story. When the settlers from the Western European came to North America, right? They're coming in a big ship, right? They're landing and they're greeted by people here on this. And usually the people with the power, or the people with the power greet. They'll, hey, there's somebody coming, come here. There's the stranger coming, foreigners coming. You see, and they bring the people power, the authority. And this holy man happened to be in that exchanging their information, right? They speak different language, right? They cannot communicate, but they communicate via sign language because there is something there that's universal, right? And you can communicate even though you don't know the language, right? So they communicate, and the holy man asked the other guys, hey, how did you arrive here? We said we come from far away. How did you arrive here? How did you come here? We haven't seen you before. Where did you come from? How did you come from? I said, well, we come from here and here, and we arrived in this big ship. And the holy man in that thing, and they pointed the ship. Holy man, where's the ship? He doesn't see the ship. Holy man does not see the ship because he has no knowledge of the ship. He has no condition of the ship. So you see everything through your knowledge. So whatever you're seeing with your knowledge, if you don't have the knowledge, you don't see it. The triangle you see is coming from the knowledge, and you're saying there's a passing the light. But in there, there's a one unitary process, there is no, you're seeing illusion, and even drawn the illusion, but there is only one thing that is happening. There is all these things are illusion. All these flowers, glass, microphone, lights, human body, air, fence, sky, trees, houses, all these are illusions. There's only one unitary action that is taking place, one unitary movement that is going. These are all illusion because, why? Why is it illusion?
Because it's just molecules.
I say it's illusion. Why is illusion?
It's created from the thought.
Are you getting closer?
It's getting.
I already said this. You know, if you
It's
listen to
deriving
my
the light
last
from-
talks, I already said this before.
It's deriving the light from the thought. It's deriving the light from yourself.
Perception.
You're getting close. I already said this
because
in
of
last.
your existence, the things exist, right? And you pretty much can consider them as something outside from you, but actually it's because of your light, because of your existence, things are existing around, right?
Well, that's a the good answer, but I already said this before. Like a couple times. You've watched. Because of this all happened because of deviation in the nature. See, one point we are all one, and deviation occurred in the nature. It allowed, or it occurred, a mechanism in the brain, and that mechanism in the brain starts seeing all these differences, all this separateness, and because of this mechanism, because of this deviation, this mechanism, all this thing arose, all this humanity arose, all this thinking arose, all this collective, comprehensive collective knowledge occurred. And this, I was talking to my father-in-law yesterday. He said, look, all this thing is collective. You see, this has created actually misery for humans. You see, in the beginning there's nomads, right? People, hunters and gatherers, going here and there, and some group of people came up with the idea, let's farm. We can collect food and you can store the food. We don't need to chase for that animal, or we don't need to chase for that food on the tree. You eat, it goes. But you can store it in your store. You can store that. That idea came, right? And that idea became collective idea, and that idea drove because of the separateness. You see, you're separate.
From the animal.
No, the separateness is that you're separate from this whole surrounding. Now you are separating yourself and created the civilization. You see, and some people are, now are kind of going back to that. Was it necessary? They're asking questions like that, right? And I see it wasn't necessary, but it happened this way, right? Because of that, human population grew tremendously. Because now we have a food. You see, we don't have to go. We can produce many babies.
So deviation happened one by one like that, right?
We don't know how deviation happened. In the nature, deviation happened that created this mental mechanism for humans to see the separateness.
I think in Christianity this about the apple, Adam and Eve, right? That's
Yeah.
how deviation
Can you
happened
give
in
them-
Christianity.
I'm sorry?
I think in Christianity they said like this separateness is about Adam and Eve, apple. There is a story, right?
That's a story.
So that's also kind of deviation, example of deviation, how it started.
Possibly because now you have a need to eat apple, right? Which is pretty, maybe tasty. So need to eat apple, and from there maybe people start eating. Maybe it's not necessary to even eat food because you can get the sun. Everything is coming from the sun. Apple is coming from the sun. See, without the sun, apple cannot be here. So everything, even the apple that you eat, the food that you eat, is a sun. You see, it's coming from the sun. It is a sun. So by accepting the direct light with the sun, you see, your human body is capable of sustaining itself. And there's people in India, there's a couple, he has proved that he can survive just in the sun. You see.
So in Satyayug, it was collective consciousness in Satyayug then?
Okay, so we don't want to go into Satyayug like that, right? Here, we don't want to go into that because I say even today is Satyayug. Okay? It's all created by thought. It's all created by the mind. Satyayug, all those Kali Yuga. Right now, supposedly we were in a Kali Yuga, right? You see, even today there is a collective knowledge, comprehensive collective knowledge. and we accept those as a truth, and that's changing because new information come in, old theories discarded, new theories coming in, right? Old theories gone, new theories coming, all this gathering information. There's tons of information. You see, we're exhausted with all this information, and that's collected, and that's a comprehensive collected knowledge, and group of expert, they agree or disagree. You see, they agree and it becomes truth in that sense, right? But here I'm pointing the truth is beyond that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like oneness, right? Before there was oneness, because of a diversity, we started thinking different, and this is illusion. But in Satyavuk, they used to think oneness, right?
Well, that's the idea. Satyayuga is the idea. What I'm saying is even exists now. It depends on who's seeing it. Some people it's Kali Yuga, some people it's Satyayuga.
Yeah.
It's all your attitude, how you see it, how you see life.
So, since the existence is whole and perfect, right? Anything coming out of it, right? Anything coming out of it should be perfect as well. So all of the miseries, all the sufferings, or all the good things happening in this life, the now, must be perfect as well, right? Everything is God, basically.
You see, the suffering that is occurring now, the suffering is occurring now, suffering happens. That's the way of
even
life.
that is in its perfection.
That's the way
right?
that's the way of this human body is designed. There is suffering no matter what. There's human form, there's suffering.
Even Christ suffered, right?
Yeah, well, I already said that before, right? Christ suffered, Krishna suffered, Buddha suffered, right? But let's go back to your suffering, right? What I'm pointing is that the suffering is there in human form. Suffering cannot be denied, right? But this is I said this before, last time also. Mind is a sensual thing. It loves sensuality. It loves pleasure. You see, this is a place for pleasure. Mind loves sensuality. Mind loves pleasure, right? So when there's a suffering, mind wants to get rid of that from the body. Why am I suffering? I need to have pleasure all the time. So why am I suffering? So mind wants to get rid of that from your body. And the thought comes in, thought will do many, many things to try to get rid of that body. And the suffering becomes amplified, just like I spoke about last time. See, amplified, thought amplified. The suffering because it wants to get rid of from your body. And it does many things. And the moment thought is involved into your natural process of the body, involved in there, it amplifies it, it creates more suffering in there. And that becomes your psychological suffering, and people you say you're suffering. Do you see that?
Yeah, but ultimately we don't. I mean, there is no need for change, right? Is there a need for change? Everything is in perfection.
Yeah,
Suffering,
I'm not
suffering.
Yeah,
Heaven, hell, right?
This right here is. I'm not trying to change anything. I am not against anything. What is happening to me is happening perfectly as it is. Perfectly, imperfectly, perfectly. It's happening. There is no need to change. What I'm doing right now is I'm just pointing to that. See, pointing you to the truth. You see, it's like yesterday, my father-in-law were watching the moon on the telescope, right? So I'm pointing to the moon with the finger. All the phrases I'm giving you, all these talks I'm giving you, is just the pointing to the moon. The moon is the truth. I mean, I can point, and you may see my finger, but if you don't look at the moon, and if you don't see the moon, this becomes useless, right? So that's all I'm doing. I'm pointing to the truth in your own experiencing, just like observing that is going on, experiencing that is going on. Suffering is created by your own thought. 90% of suffering is actually created by your own thought. You're thinking, you want to become something. Like you have some experiencing in the past, and you're also trying to experience that now because that time that experience felt good. Now I want to feel that experience. Right, and that is causing you a problem because now you are trying to be that. You see, before it happened automatically, spontaneously, and it felt really good because it happened spontaneously. Now you're trying to copy that, you're trying to bring that again into experience, and you're thinking, and you're using thoughts to bring that out. Now you're entertaining thought, and actually it's causing you suffering, more suffering.
But as you say, thought is knowledge is important to understand, like the ship story, like the story you said. If you have a knowledge, you can understand better. So if I have a knowledge about what, then I can experience that better, because I will not know what happened until I have a knowledge. Like example you give.
You're missing the point. The example I give you, that with knowledge, right? With knowledge, you can see something. Without knowledge, you cannot see something. I'm saying I'm not giving importance to the knowledge. I'm saying there's a collective knowledge, right? To function in the society, you may have to collect that knowledge. In that sense, yes, it's important. In that level, right? To function in the society. That's all value there is to it. What you're searching for, right? They're searching for enlightenment or whatever, the nirvana, you see, epiphanic experience, the great experience that all the people felt. You're seeking for the experience. What I'm saying is knowledge cannot bring that.
At least knowledge about that can happen. Like, not exactly the knowledge about ABCD, but
by having that knowledge, it can give you the experience of feel good, but the real deal, right? The real deal only happens spontaneously or by serendipity. No matter what you do, you cannot get to the real deal. But you can experiencing a feeling good by doing something that extraordinary. The people who felt extraordinary experiencing, right? They did something and they feel good. You can copy that and you can feel good.
So
you can feel. Do you see the differences? You can feel good.
I know. It's like you have to feel it, not just knowledge, right? You just have to feel it.
No. I'm saying so that by having that knowledge, right? I mean, the whole point is coming. You coming here by you want to feel good, right? That's the whole purpose, right? You want to be free, feel good. Isn't that the whole purpose? I mean, otherwise, why did you come here?
So in 2009, right? Whenever that thing happened, whatever that quantum realized happened to you, you wanted to know later what exactly happened to me. Like, you wanted to get a knowledge about, is this really like
that's only knowledge to speak about, to speak.
Yeah, speak about, to transfer the experiencing, at least.
But who knows what happened to me? No one knows. I'm just speaking, I'm just speaking through the language. Who knows? No one knows. Even I don't really know what really happened, you see. And I ask to people, expert, they say, is atomic transformation. Who knows atomic transformation? You see, just the word given to you to describe that experiencing. You see?
Experience is different, but at least there is a word to describe that experience, and that's a knowledge. Now, quantum knowledge, right? And
no, not knowledge.
And so we have our own belief system, right? Religion, Shiva, we pray to God. This is our belief system so far.
That's beliefs.
And that's a belief system so far, embedded so far.
That's conditioned. You're conditioned.
You're conditioned, right? And we lived on this condition so far. And all of a sudden, this quantum thing happens, and we realize that, we understand that. Okay, realize is a better word, and realize that. But you have to you should able to realize, like understand, have a knowledge about what happened to eradicate those old belief system.
No. That's the whole purpose of this gathering is this. Okay, so let's take a step back. Okay, so somebody at that point experienced extraordinary experience, epiphanic experience. Maybe enlightenment happened to that person. Let's say Shiva, right?
Yeah.
He started giving talks like this, Moksha Mukti, right? He started giving talks, and people heard him, recorded his account, experiencing his stories, recorded, and now that become religion. You see, and that becomes your conditioning, and that is there in a belief system. That's how the belief system start. So now, and that thought come in about that religion. You see, that thought arose in you. What I'm saying is, even question that thought and don't believe in that thought. Even observe that thought. That's what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Observing that thought, and you see, and then maybe you have opportunity to come to that quantum level and seeing that, and in there you don't even need to believe that anymore.
Yeah,
You see,
at that
and
point.
I'm saying don't believe anything. I'm not saying that, right? I'm just saying that too. There's a belief there. You believe in that. That's fine, right? Without the belief, you can't even go home, right? You have to believe. You have to get in the car, drive over there. You see, that also needs to take place, right? So beliefs are there. But what I'm saying is, while you're here, you are even observing that belief. So the belief occurred. Now I am observing that. See, there's a difference, right? So that's the whole purpose of coming here.
So basically, all of those paths leads to the being of yourself, right? The being, ultimately. There is a, Gyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and all that. These are
You
all
are
the
already
paths
being.
that leads to that.
You are already being.
Yeah, the freedom.
But the
and
being,
ultimately,
the one that says being is the thought.
Yeah,
See, you are already being. You are being in this moment, right?
yeah,
Now, the thought, the separateness created that thought. It says that now I am not being. Next minute, next hour, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I become that. I am being. I am going to that being. You see?
yeah.
Thought is saying that.
In reality, you already are that.
You are. That's what I'm pointing out.
Yeah.
See, you are already that, and thought is saying that. See?
So once you realize that being Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga is not necessary, right? You're already there.
According to me, it's not necessary,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? But I say don't. I don't say don't do it. Do it by doing. Some, it may gives you some experiencing that may feel good to you, right? But what you're seeking, I know what you're seeking. I'm not yet clear about what you're seeking, but I know what you're seeking. You're not gonna get that by doing that. It may give you good experience and good feeling even by coming here. You may feel good by coming here. You see, you may really feel good by coming here.
Yeah. And
But
then
it's not that. It's not what you're seeking.
Yeah.
Feeling good is not what you're seeking. You're seeking something else,
Right.
and which you are already that. I already pointed to that. And you just realize that now. You just recognize that now. I want you to carry that recognition wherever you go, whenever you can. Okay.
Yeah.
And then at that point, there is no need to listen to anybody. There is no need to read book. There is no need to listen to anybody. There is, you see, you become free. You become liberated. You see, the carrying that in your recognition all the time. You see, then that's what you are seeking. And just because you carry that, doesn't mean that you're gonna feel good all the time. There's gonna be pain and there's gonna be pleasure. Both is gonna be there in the present. It's all happening dynamically, and there are tremendously powerful influence that is here. Some people say gamma ray, some people say electromagnetic field. Coming from different galaxies you don't even see with your eyes. Intangible forces are changing the stimulus in the environment, and that gives you thinking, that even gives you thoughts, you see. And some influence, like one thought arises, you're angry. See, we have yet to get the angry. I think we have only 6 minutes, so let's talk about anger here, right? Let's get into the anger. You are angry in that moment. Next time same thought arises, you're not angry anymore. See all the influence that is. And also there is attitude within you. Once you're in the quantum level, you see, the anger cannot harm you. Otherwise, there's anger. Anger is there. It's energy. Maybe we can talk about anger next time. But I'll just get into the surface about anger. Right? Anger is like energy that is there to express humans' limitations. To express the limitation, there is a small physical body and this small resources. We have to share more resources. There are 7 billion people on Earth. See, a lot of space involved. And there's 2 times it happened to me like this. I'm trying to go left, and this car on the left lane was supposed to go left. He went straight and almost hit me. See, I'm turning left. And the other day I was, this guy just comes up here in the car. He just stops in front of me. And he can go, there's a lane here. He can just go there. There's no car in front of me. He just stops in my lane. I had to slam the brake, and my daughter was jumping. My mother-in-law was jumping. I think she scratched her hand. My daughter, hit in our head, just a little bit. See, this guy just that creates anger, because now we are sharing this space. We're sharing this space, and people do things like that, and there's anger. What the hell, And when the anger arises, then your energy, that's the energy, and it creates. You may shout, or you may, create some. You may bare your teeth, or you do like you express in your face. That happens because of that. And say, well, you get angry. And somebody say, well, don't get angry. Buddhism say don't get angry. And I read just yesterday, even Dalai Lama said he gets angry, right? And I've been telling, I get angry.
He eats meat also. He eats meat once.
I don't know, he eats meat, but I don't eat meat. I don't eat meat. It's been 6 years, 7 years, right? I don't eat meat, but and I've been saying I get angry. And this guy Rinpoche, highest Lama, when I was giving talk, he walked out because I get angry. And even I realized his master, Dalai Lama, gets angry, because anger cannot be denied. It's there in your human race to express the limitation this chemical produces, and you cannot deny that. It's like heart beats, it's beating, right? I think the anger is not there once you pass away, and there is no more anger.
So no more amplifying that anger.
There's no more. There's no more chemical produce, and there's no thought. Chemical and thought is working together to make you angry. And see, people are taking action, right? This guy Bryce Williams, right? I think I shouldn't even say his name, let's clean this.
Cheers.
No, I'm just cleaning because I said his name, he went and
That's a good idea.
killed this reporter, right? Because she took her job, right? And see, he was angry. And I understand that anger arises in the body, but he took it too far. He let the thought entertain that anger. So what I'm pointing out is, don't let the thought entertain the anger. Thought entertain the anger. See, he written 23 pages of manifesto, in fact, to the station, right? 23 pages. So all these things are coming from the thought. So when you get angry, what I'm pointing out is, don't let the thought, just observe that thought. Don't take action with that thought. Don't even let the thought take its course, go into next level. Just observe the thought in your observing. Right? If he did that, if he listened to Moksha Mukti, there wouldn't be a killing today. I can guarantee you, there wouldn't be no killing. If this person listened to what Moksha Mukti is saying, he didn't entertain the thought. See, the thought amplified it, and he took action, and what happened? There's a tragedy occurred. And that's what happening today in the human being. See, that's what happened in the planet, in the human being. And I'm just pointing to that functionality and recognize that functionality. Once you recognize that functionality, there is no need to entertain with the thought, no need to take action, no need to have all this misery, no need to have all this tragedy.
Yeah, and to me, there is one stage where you, self-realize, or know that you are the being, and then after that is all the transformation, right? So where the anger comes because of existing conditioning and all that stuff, you just are being the observing, and and get more and more transfer with the awareness that we are and things like that, and that keeps on going until pretty much you leave this body and all that.
That's the nature of the thought. That's what I'm pointing out. That's the nature of the thought that does that.
But isn't the anger, certain conditioning that triggers? You expect something when you're driving. You expect that people
that's
are
a condition.
following the rules,
That's
right?
a condition. That's
you
also
get angry because of that condition.
That's a condition.
Right?
That's how we condition.
Right.
But what I'm saying, even observe that condition, observe that thought. You see, thought and condition is working together.
Right.
And different culture. I think this is the last we have to leave, right? So we'll turn off the. We'll still talk and
So
take
we're gonna
some.
skip the multiverse.
We'll skip the multiverse. It's something.
I want to know.
We'll talk about that, because 9:15 we have to take up. Then we'll take the prasad, and the food breakfast, that becomes prasad, because this is all we're offering to the universe, right? And what we're doing is to the universe. It's not doing for, although you may benefit personally by coming here, you see, and people have benefited that in the past. This one person, he used to call me all the time, come to this gathering on the phone from California. He's just transformed his life just by coming to talking with me. He just transformed his life. He used to do 9 to 5 job. Now he's taking his hobby. He was afraid to take his hobby to the next level. Now he's producing big time commercial films. You see, because here I'm pointing you and freeing you from your own thought. You see. So yeah, we'll talk about multiverse. I think that's all the time we have for today. Those of you who are watching, thank you for watching. And our next gathering is, let's see the calendar here. Next gathering is going to be September 5th, 2015, 7:30 a.m. We're going to do it hopefully here, and we're going to broadcast it until next time. See you next time. So I'm going to stop this broadcasting.